Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So I've raved enough about why I hate or Peter dislike various holidays. I thought I would talk about alternative holidays that I celebrate most years. So we just had Mary Curry's birthday. I didn't really do much to celebrate her birthday this year, but last year I celebrated by extracting a tiny amount of polonium 210. I had just acquired a very sensitive Geiger counter, and I discovered that dust in the house can contain a small amount of polonium 210 because radon in the air decays into positively charged polonium ions that stick into dust. And I had vacuumed the floor and put the Geiger counter near all the dust that was vacuumed, and it let off quite a number of ticks. Nothing crazy just yet, but then I discovered some chemical processes I could do to destroy the organic material in the dust and leave behind the polonium and other radioactive elements in the dust. I discovered that if you mix sulfuric acid drain cleaner with food grade hydrogen peroxide, high concentration hydrogen peroxide, it makes piranha solution, and that will just eat away at the dust, right, and leave behind all of the metal ions and all the good stuff. So I had done that, and then I had distilled off the acid. And I need to show you guys my apparatus. I don't like filming when I do that because I really need to focus, and I don't need a camera distracting me. But I'll figure out a way to do this. And so I had distilled off the acid, and I left behind a small amount of sludge. And when I held the Geiger counter near the sludge, it screamed its head off. It was like beep 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 beep, and so I had isolated some polonium 210. And but that wasn't the only holiday that I celebrated this year. I like to believe that Mary Curry was reincarnated into Evelina Folenta. I see a lot of similarities between the two, especially last 2 years ago when Evelina Folenta was in Ukraine helping with the refugee situation. It really reminded me of Mary Curry with her first X-ray machines of treating wounded soldiers during World War One. I saw a lot of parallels between the two. I really did. And so Evelina Folenta is single, and so I sometimes celebrate her birthday as a singles pride day. At the beginning of COVID-19, I had broken up with my girlfriend of many years at that point, 3-4 years at that point, and we had reopened our restaurants to 25-50% capacity around the time of Evelina Folenta's birthday, and I went to my favorite Thai restaurant, and unfortunately, ever since then, we've returned to the office, and I can never find the heart to take a day off on any of these days because I really love all of our students. I scheduled the day off for Mary Curry's birthday this year. I was gonna do an experiment and show it live here on YouTube. But then I first well I've kind of taken a break away from that because I've been very irritable as of late, and I don't want to be playing with dangerous chemicals and radiation at the moment. I need to be in a better frame of mind before I do that, right? First that, and second, I had a good time with my student the day before Mary Curry's birthday, and I didn't want to leave behind the students. And unfortunately, that has been a trend for me as of late, right? Now, people say I'm a workaholic. I disagree. I'm only a workaholic in the sense that somebody who is in a good relationship is in a relationship-aholic, right? You wouldn't say that, right? And right, some people don't even want to spend a day away from their spouse to do other stuff, right? Imagine that you love playing golf, right? But every day after work, you can't bring yourself to go play golf because you'd rather go home to your spouse, right? That's how I feel about my job, right? Okay. So I love celebrations, but just on different days, right? Especially on days where not everybody else is celebrating, so that I can go out and not have a crowded restaurant to go to, right? Now, last year we commiserated 60 years since the loss of John F. Kennedy, and I have a little bit of a nickname for what it means to Kennedy a challenge. If you Kennedy something, that means you do it just because it is hard, right? As a challenge, right? So you might say, for example, I'm going to Kennedy the challenge of writing the number one AI for the game of backgammon, or you could say I'm going to Kennedy the challenge of I'm in Apache Junction right now. Hey, I'm gonna take a walk all the way to Phoenix. Let's go Kennedy that challenge, right? That's what it means to JFK something. So last year for JFK's 60th birthday, I decided to JFK the challenge of writing the number one AI for the game of Scout, and I think I have it. I'm having a difficult time putting the final touches to it because again I'm having some personal difficulties at this moment in time. Now this year marks another solemn anniversary, and most of my viewers will probably not recognize this story, but I've been following it for a very long time. When I was a kid, I was in sixth grade. I used to love to watch crime stories, detective shows. And one of the first cases I saw, and this one still hits me hard, I was watching the FBI files on the Discovery Channel, and this 5-year-old girl had been kidnapped from a Christmas party. Her name is Melissa Brannon. Feel free to Google the FBI Files episode. It is on YouTube nowadays. So, but she was kidnapped on December 3rd, 1989, and this year marks 35. Can you believe it? I remember the first time I watched that segment, I was in sixth grade. I remember the 10-year anniversary, and now we're talking the 35th anniversary. And every so often, I still Google the case to see if her body has turned up or something has turned up. I still want to believe she's still alive, right? And unfortunately, her abductor was released a number of years ago, and then this past year he was rearrested on some kind of parole violation. So it's just this, and now we come up to the 35th and solemn anniversary, right? And I was in sixth grade when I first saw the story. To be fair, I probably also had a crush on her at the time when I first saw the story. Anyways, so 35 years, but if she didn't survive, I like to think she was reincarnated 10 days later into Taylor Swift, if you could believe that. She does kind of resemble Taylor Swift, right? So I'll probably have a solemn morning of that on December 3rd. I'll probably do an intermittent fast, right? So you get the idea, right? I like it because I don't have to be distracted by other people's holiday celebrations when I do these, right? December 6th is, I used to be a big fan of Survivor Season 1. I was a big fan of Colleen Haskell from Survivor Season 1, and she turns 48 years old this December 6th, right? So big celebration there too. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.